A very good morning to all the parents and the speaker present here. I give you all a very welcome warm to this webinar. Thank you so much for joining for this webinar conducted by Project CACA. And today's topic is going to be on cyber safety. Please note that this webinar is not a substitute for any legal or clinical advice. This webinar is going to be interactive. We will ask questions and take your valuable opinions as we go on. The participants are required to type their answers and opinions in the chat box. The answers and opinions can be sent to the speaker privately as well. Please remember that there is no right or wrong answer to these questions, and your opinions help us in research purposes in Project CACA. So Project CACA stands for Children Against Child Abuse. This is an institution-driven and rights-based preventative safety program for schools to keep our children happy, healthy, and safe. The program is implemented under the school's safety policy and follows a child-centric and holistic approach that involves all the stakeholders, that is children, parents, teachers, and the support staff of the school. It is a flagship project under the Delhi-based NGO called as Social Axiom Foundation, and Project CACA is a collaborative effort developed and implemented with the help of various supportive organizations and partner organizations, as you can see on the slide. Now, the digital landscape has become a prevalent uh, playground for predators. Children today have unprecedented access to the internet and digital devices, making them vulnerable to online exploitation. Ensuring their safety in the digital realm is essential to protect them from grooming, harassment, and exploitation. By teaching children about online safety, monitoring their online activities, and fostering open communication about potential risks, we can create a safer online environment that significantly reduces the chances of child sexual abuse occurring through digital means. Cyber safety measures act as a vital defense against the hidden dangers of the digital world, helping to safeguard our children and prevent them from falling victim to sexual predators. I would like to now introduce our speaker today, Mr. Sayan Bandyopadhyay. He is an assistant professor of clinical psychology in Rashtriya Raksha University, Gujarat, to take this session. Mr. Bandyopadhyay has done RCI recognized MPhil in clinical psychology. His areas of interest include clinical psychology, behavioral medicine, hypnotherapy, and cyber psychology. He has had he has worked effectively with multidisciplinary teams comprising psychiatrists, social workers, educators, and medical professionals to ensure holistic care for clients. He has provided multiple lectures on cyber psychology and safety psychology. Now I'd like to invite Mr. Bandyopadhyay to take over the session. Over to you, sir.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for this kind introduction. And before begin, I'd like to say that I have tried to make the presentation, and I also will facilitate the presentation in a certain way that would be simple and also would enable you to understand the cyberspace or the cyber landscape and how the scenario is nowadays. What are the stakeholders who can safeguard you, your children's from any kind of cyber breaching, cyber security breaching rather. So being aware of cyber security, what are the resources that as parents, teachers, or we have, that knowledge is very important. There is sometimes a certain way how we do it, right? So it's important that it's not only about what we present or what we give, it's also important that how we deliver them. So that is again very much important. So we'll be talking about all those parts
Parents, it looks like the speaker is experiencing certain network issues. Kindly give us a moment. We will get back to you soon. Thank you so much for your
Yeah.
patience.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir, you are.
Because of Gujarat, because of the Gujarat floods and lot of things, the networks are not very visible nowadays. Anyway,
Okay.
I hope it won't be a problem for the right. So yeah, coming back. So as I was saying that, it's important as parents that we know that, how to deliver also the resources, how to be with our children, and how to provide help them navigate through the cyberspace, how to be a cyber smart parent, as I say. So that is something that is very important. Right. So let's begin. So I'll facilitate the whole this presentation with a PPT that I have made so that you can also follow that. Um, is my slideshow visible to everyone?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. Great. Okay, so let's begin. So today we will explore about cyber safety, and these are the certain things that we will cover today. What are the different types of cyber crimes, cyber attacks, way to safeguard us from the cyber attacks. Then we will come down about parenting, and there are different skills of parenting, different styles of parenting, and as a cyber smart parent, what are the different cyber parenting styles that exist, and which one of these styles is actually the best one as per research and as per our years of experience, that how we can be a cyber smart parent. So that is something we will discuss, and you will have the choice to see, okay, so this has been my approach, whether my health approach has been the best approach with my children, or it can be somehow in certain, or that we cover in. Then smart parent, that is also very important, and that we will also explore. And what are the points that is important to be a cyber smart parent? Right. So let's come to the cyber crimes in India. So as you can see from here, there in 2019, as per the records, the recent records are currently still updated, but however, you can see it's more than 1 trillion of loss, financial loss, that India as a country has experienced because of different cyber crimes. Okay, so there are many cases, and there have been different types of financial frauds like the phishing scams, the fake job offers, data breaches, unauthorized access to your accounts, maybe your bank account, maybe through your PAN card or Aadhaar cards. Right. So all this way, different financial frauds are done. Also, children are really the soft targets, and often through games, through the means of games, or through the means of certain videos, attractive videos that children often experience while exploring the internet. So they can come across certain games, certain pop-ups, And if they click certain things, or even while you are operating a smartphone, suppose a SMS comes, or suppose suddenly a pop-up comes and you accidentally, or maybe curiosity, due to curiosity, to click on something, and this might lead the hackers or the perpetrators to get an access to your uh, system, get an access to your smartphone, get an access to your laptops or tabs, and they can infiltrate into your system and derive lot of data from that. So we have to be cautious about those parts. So as you can see, these are the data that how much, and in it shows how the demographics, that the number of the age groups that access different social medias. Right. So you can see there are users of WhatsApp and Instagram, Instagram being one of the highest using social media platforms, and there are a lot of others like Facebook and Snapchat, WeChat, Twitter, Telegram. Right. So all these are the social media platforms, and through this, the perpetrators can access into your systems. There can be links, there can be, you might be allured by certain kinds that if you click on the link, you will be able to, get some kind of a reward, or some kind of a lottery, or even sometimes we try to download movies and videos from the internet, and we might click certain link. The movie might not be there, but some kind of malware or ransomware, as we say, some kind of virus basically, that may get downloaded in your system. And whenever you are accessing your personal information in this particular system, so all the hackers can actually access. They can see and understand what you are typing, what you are interacting, and they will understand everything. Suppose you are typing your date of birth or your passwords in certain platforms, social media platforms, or bank accounts, or anything, any personal things. So all that can be traced by the perpetrators, right? So these are the different ways they can infiltrate. Now coming to the types of crime, the major crime that happens is through phishing, right? So people try to gather personal data using certain deceptive emails and through certain websites. They will say, okay, this is a program, or I'm offering you a job. Click on this link, and we will open a portal where you can, access. You can start accessing to jobs. You can earn some extra money. We will pay you for 1,000 per hour or 2 hours for certain work. Please click on the link, and certain all these links might come to your emails, might come to your SMS and WhatsApp, and all this keeps on coming. So this is the way they can target you, right? So clicking on any kind of link which has been sent from an unknown number, not trustworthy source, can be very problematic, right? Then there is something that we say as denial of service attack. Is an attack where you are told that something like your certain machine or system will be unavailable, or your bank account will be closed, your this Aadhaar card will be closed, this will be closed, something like that. If you don't do this, you won't be able to access the Wi-Fi. If you don't do this, your Aadhaar card or bank account will close down. If you don't do this, your debit card will expire, something like that. And in such means, they persuade you to provide certain data. Okay, tell me this, then this will not happen. Your account will not be closed. So please provide me this data so that I can rectify it. So all these kinds of phone calls or emails might come, and they may say that, this is the problem. And if you don't provide me with data, then this will be closed. So all these parts are important. Then there can be some kind of middleman kind of attack where you are transacting between two parties. You are making an online payment, and there can come a link or something pop up, and you click that, and suddenly a different window opens, and whatever money you were transacting or whatever information that was going on being shared that might be transferred to a totally different party. A third party intervention can happen. Then through, as I was saying, through different viruses like ransomware, spyware, worms, trojans, these are the names of different kinds of spyware. Suppose a virus or a system is downloaded in your system through which your web camera, right? Your web camera, your whatever mouse or the website you are clicking, your microphone, whatever you are talking, all this can be accessed by any third party, by the perpetrators. They can see you, they can hear you what you are saying through the microphone, right? So you will see in our mobile and smartphone and also in our laptops, whenever we download different apps or certain games, videos, or even we open certain websites, there is something that comes that, okay, allow this app to use microphone, or allow this app to use your camera, allow this app to access to your contacts. So be very mindful and aware that just don't click okay for everything. Be aware ki what is this app for? Why is it asking for all this contact details or access to camera, access to microphone, and all these accesses? So if you blindly give access to all your system, so your whole hardware can be hijacked by these other systems or apps. You never know. Especially if you download any app or if you download any software which you are not very familiar with, or which is something very new, and the app is asking for access to your web camera, to your maybe microphone, to your contacts, and all these things. You should be very mindful before giving an access to all these things. You need to check if I am not giving access, it is functioning, or is this app so important to use that I have to compromise and give access to all these personal details of mine. So all this you need to be very mindful of, right? Because coming to the fifth point, as you can see in the last point in this slide, that social engineering. Okay, so social engineering is a skill basically, or is a stream where people are there who know how to somehow facilitate you or take you through or trick you. Rather, if I use the word, they can trick you to gather certain sensitive data. They will create a certain scenario in the cyberspace through the apps, through the website, or create a certain situation where you will be allured to give your data, allured to give your information to them. And once you access all those things, they can completely misuse that, abuse your trust, breach your privacy. So you have to be very mindful about all these parts. Until and unless, I always say to the parents, teachers, and all the elders that until and unless we as elders practice certain, as an informed, aware citizen about the cyberspace, about cyber security, it is very difficult to facilitate our children through that. Right. So very important, and we need to apply them ourselves first. And then obviously we can guide them, our children. So you can see these are all the vulnerabilities that are mostly been observed. Right. Online addiction, online FOMO, like children nowadays, you will see, especially after COVID, all the different important things, like even their tuitions, their classes, lot of, I would say, coaching classes, a lot of educational programs, lot of things actually are being done online. Projects are given online, assignments are given online. The children are asked to make presentations from, very early age throughout school, make projects. So they are needed, like they have to know about, and they have to use the internet. They have to use the smartphone and the laptop and the computers. You can't eliminate all this from their system. You can't say, okay, no, my child won't use anything because he might be face some kind of vulnerability. That is not possible, because they need to grow. They need to also learn technology. That is important for their education, for their growth and occupational growth. Gradually, they will learn and they would need to apply all the skills in use of technology when they will be doing higher studies or their jobs. What is important is not eliminating or restricting the use. It is important to make them aware for their healthy use, that they can protect themselves. They know whom to go to or whom to say at what point, that okay, this has happened and this is something I'm experiencing, or this something happened, so what should I do? And they should be also aware that what are the ways they can be breached, they can be abused online, right? So all these points are very important. Cyber socialization, cyber bullying, cyber stalking, trolling, cyber sextortion, online sextortion, all these are areas to which mostly children are abused and are vulnerable in this cyber space. Lot of times children indulge in different group discussions or different groups where someone might be a perpetrator who somehow manipulates them or convince them that okay, this will happen and I will give you this, your mother will be proud of you, and you will be able to do this, you will be able to earn money and take care of your pocket money and everything, you won't have to ask your parents. And children might, out of goodwill, think, okay, let me do something. Okay, this is something fascinating. Let's try. And they might get into something which is very dangerous. Because young children are curious. They would want to know. So, as parents, it's best that you provide the information. You be there for them. And children have an access to you. Right? They can approach you and say, oh, mommy, this is happening, or father, this is something that I came across online or in this group, this is happening, what should I do? Is it right? So this open communication with children is very important. That is missing. Right. So all these parts need to be taken care of. Now, as you can see, in 2020, cybersecurity breach incidents have been registered, as you can see. So government has taken and has been taking almost different initiatives to, almost for 1 decade or so, more than that, that they are implementing, like, as you can see, the national cyber policy that came up to, the safeguard the parents and children from any kind of, cyber breaching, cyber security purposes. This whole policy makes is there to protect the citizens from any kind of cyber attack, enabling the infrastructure to provide cyberspace information and safeguard you from, if there is any kind of cyber attack that happens. Right, then there is the National Computer Emergency Response Team that was uh, formed in NCIIPC, right, as per the Information Technology Act. So anything, if any kind of things that happen, like, there is some kind of tampering of documental resources or your data, if someone has hacked into your computer system, if there is any kind of threat or any kind of privacy infringement, if someone cheats you out of computer resources, you can actually go out and you can tell the cyber cell. Nowadays, in different police stations, there are cyber cell. If not anything, please approach your nearby police stations. Be aware that which police station of your city, of your district has a cyber cell. So there are specialized security forces, specialized police teams, mainly to delve into the cyber security, the laws and the stakeholders, and what are the ways you can safeguard yourself. So this is something one must be aware of. Right. Now, like the Cyber Swachhta Kendra that has been set up in cities in different, to combat any kind of cyber security breaching. Right. So government is also taking a lot of initiatives, opening a lot of centers, increasing the number of stakeholders that might protect you and safeguard you and your children from any kind of cybercrime. And if at all something happens, then you would know where to go, right? So this, as a citizen, you must be aware of all these parts, that there are stakeholders, there are specialized committees, there are specialized teams in the security forces which will protect you from any kind of cyber crimes. Now, let's come to how you as a parent can develop certain approaches which will help you to foster and interact with your children in a better way, so that you can also facilitate all this information, also ensure that they do not get into any kind of trouble while using the smartphone, while using the internet. Because it is very important, and in some way it is not possible that they won't be using the internet or the smartphones, because their educational system nowadays, after especially COVID, the whole educational system is so much into this online interaction mode, so they have to use it. As we say, this online cyberspace is a necessary evil. It is very necessary for our growth, for our development, but also there is an evil part. It is like a coin which has both sides. Now we have to use it in a more aware, adaptive way. We need to understand that what are its dark sides, what are the threats. Otherwise, it's a very important tool also. 30, 40 years before the cyber revolution, if I may say, it was so difficult, the information, the education, and lot of things was not possible. Like you can see, I am sitting in Gujarat and you all may be in, so far away in a different part of our country, but you are listening to me. Earlier, it might not have been possible for a person, for an expert from Gujarat or maybe Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, in any part of the country to facilitate someone else. So this online platform, the cyberspace, is also useful in facilitating so many things which was not possible earlier. Nowadays, we can do online courses, get world-class education sitting maybe in a district, in some kind of semi-urban, rural setting as well, just if we have internet. A student, a child can get world-class level, he or she can listen to professors from USA, UK, or any big university of India or across the world just by sitting in any part of the country. So this whole cyber revolution is a boon, but it has also a curse attached to the boon. Now it's up to us that how much of it we can use as a boon. It's like a genie who will fulfill a lot of wishes of yours, but if not used wisely, it can bring a lot of distraction as well. Right. So somewhere as parents, we need to promote and support our children physically, emotionally, and socially throughout our childhood, so that we can be close to them and we can provide a loving, safe, nurturing environment for their positive health and right. So that is very important. So as per the National Academy of Sciences, there are four major responsibilities of parents. First is maintaining the child's health and safety, very important part that we all try to do in our own ways. There is also importance of promoting the emotional well-being. Now, as an expert and as of our experience in working with parents, this is a part that sometimes lacks, at times, because as parents and as working from the morning till evening, almost 6 days, or even sometimes 7 days of the week, we are always busy with our work. So there is much less time to be with our children, talk to them, emotionally connect with them. It's not just about providing them with the facilities. Yeah, I'm providing you with money, I'm giving you admission to school, tuition teachers, lot of books, lot of toys, all kinds of things are there, but I am not there. As a parent, if I am unavailable, that might be a big crisis in the development of a child, because giving time to your child, understanding their emotional needs apart from their educational, their financial, health, safety, all that is there, but promoting the emotional well-being is something that often we forget in a pursuit of looking into different materialistic things. But I would really want you all to please be attentive of the emotional well-being of your children. Instilling social skills. Nowadays, because so much of tuition, coaching, studies, academic pressure, demands are there, so children are somehow lacking that time to interact with the parents, the siblings, cousins, with the neighbors, with the children around them, going out to play in the evening. So all these are important because these facilitate social skills in your children. And social skills are very important nowadays. Suppose I know a lot of knowledge, I've read and I have many degrees, but I don't know to convey that. As I right now I'm sitting here and teaching you or telling you all those things. If I am very fearful, if I'm scared, if I'm not able to socialize, if I am scared of talking to people or facing so many people, there are 175 of you right now here. If I am scared, so all this knowledge of mine and degree will be futile. It will make no sense because I'm not able to provide any kind of thing to the society. And for providing to the society, social skills are very low. And that is only nurtured not through books. When the child dwells into the society, moves out, meets people, interacts with people, plays with other children, with their peers, with the elders. So all this is very important. And lastly, preparing the children intellectually, providing them with resources, books, even story books, different kinds of books of puzzles, and trying to provide them with certain resources that would provide that fertilizer or provide that resources to uplift their intellectual understanding, their curiosity, and not just intellect as in the book.
I think we have lost Mr. Sayan's connection. We will be waiting for a few minutes for him to come back to the session. Sorry about the inconvenience, parents. Thank you so much for your cooperation.
Yes, excuse me. I guess I'm back. Can you see me?
Yes, we can see you, sir.
Sorry, sorry.
It's okay, sir.
Uh, okay, so I guess I have to share one second. Just stop. Just give me a second. Yes. So all these parts are important, and as we see, these are the four C's of parenting. As a parent, one must provide care, one must provide consistency in behavior, one must also provide choice to our children, right? And also the consequences. Make the child understand that what will happen because of their behavior. Not just protect them, like don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't go here. These are the general instructions we give, but just don't say ki, don't do this. Also give them choice ki, if you do this, see, if you go this way in this road or you take certain choices, this is the path and this might be the consequences. On the other hand, if you do this, if you behave in this certain way, this might be the choice or consequences. Now you need to choose which one will you do. So this develops the child's power of taking decisions, of taking judgments, which is very important because as they will become adults and take different decisions for themselves, for their families in future, for the occupation they are in. So until and unless their judgmental and decision making parts are evolved, it will become very difficult to sustain in this real practical world. So provide them with care, consistency, the choices they have and the consequences. You as a parent, as an experienced person knows that might be there, and let them take the choice. Let them see, okay, what happens. Now coming to different styles, so these are the different styles of parenting. All of us are parents, but all of us follow certain styles of parenting. First, in research, we mostly get four categories of parenting. First, coming to authoritative parenting. Right. So in authoritative parenting, there is what we observe. There is psychological and cognitive development of children. Authoritative parents accept child in different ways. They provide autonomy. They provide that self-reliance and competence to the child. Okay, go out there, take charge, take responsibility. We are there at the back. We are there to support you, but we allow you to move out. We allow you to take your decisions. We allow you to go out there in the world, to socialize, to interact, do things. Right. So that is very important. And authoritative parenting is something we as experts urge our parents to take. It has been found to research that this is the most effective way of dealing with children, where we set clear direction and guidelines for our children. We communicate openly. We provide them the proper balance, right? And we encourage them to make informed choice online. Okay, see, this is the choice. As I was saying, we facilitate their decision making and judgment. That if you do this, this might happen. Otherwise, you can also do this, and this is there. Take a choice. Go ahead. It might be that your choice might be wrong. There might be negative consequences, but we as parents are there. Until and unless a child starts cycling, gets on a cycle, or gets in water, respectively, he or she can't learn to cycle, or he or she can't to swim. Similar way, until and unless we allow children to go out there, use certain things, approach certain things, is difficult for them to learn that. Right. On the other hand, there are certain permissive parenting styles where parents are very least concerned for. There is low involvement and low control. They allow the children to an extent where they are not even bothered what is happening, what are the consequences. So the children are out there, but they don't have that direction, you know. So sometimes such children often different because they are not aware what to do. The parents are not available to facilitate and show them the right path. So this is a way of permissive parenting where the parents are, in a pursuit of showing love and acceptance, they just allow the children to go ahead with anything and everything, which can also again be a crisis. So as parents, you must be there to facilitate, be there, which is very important. And lastly, and mostly we see in our society authoritarian parenting, where parents are very anxious, very controlling, restricting rules, discouraging any kind of discussion, limiting the independence of children. Don't do this, don't do that, this is harmful, that is harmful, because parents are themselves very fearful. The parents somewhere are themselves very anxious. Oh, what will happen to my child? But unless we allow them to move out, not learn to protect themselves. Because we have to understand at some point, as they become adults, they have to go out on their own. And for that, the skills needs to be instilled in children from the very childhood. If you don't allow them to move out at the age of 10, then I'm sorry, but at the age of 28, expect them to take decision and go out, they won't be able to. Because that has not evolved. Suddenly at the age of 25 or 30, some magic won't happen that, they would, suddenly become adults and have all the resources. It develops gradually. And if you limit them, if we limit them as parents, as elders, don't do this, don't do that, and just give our own opinions, then their own judgment and opinions will never develop. They won't know what to do without you. And that might be very dangerous. And this is the part where perpetrators might hamper because they have never learned to protect themselves. You were always there to protect them, restricting them. Now, when they are out, they don't know how to take care of themselves. Right. So, from a digital parenting perspective, now in the digital space, from the parenting styles that I was talking, these are the three types of, again, digital parents that we see nowadays. One is the digital enablers. So these parents give complete freedom to their children. Ilelo, take this, keep the smartphone. They have all the access to the laptop. No, there is no censorship. Parents are not available. Child is using smartphone in his own way. Using all kinds of different gadgets and technologies. They're exploring the online world without any limit or guidance. That is digital enablers, but this can be again very dangerous. Until and unless your child has that understanding or education that what threats are there, it might be very difficult, but they might come across a lot of perpetrators or a lot of unpleasant experiences. The other extent to this are the digital limiters, where you completely restrict the child's use of any kind of technology. We will not provide you smartphone, we will not allow you to use laptop, tabs, nothing. So there is a closed or complete limitation on the internet and on the mobile and laptop use, which is also again harmful. Because in now's time, current time, understanding technology is important. Being friendly and able to use technology is important. Because as I was explaining, it is also a boon. It is means to which your children would understand and connect with world, get lot of resources that might not be available locally. So from local to global, online facilitates us to bring local to global. But this journey has lot of understanding and awareness. So that's need to be facilitated. And ultimately, what we find is the most helpful is digital mentor. As a parent, being a digital mentor parent who is herself or himself aware, as a digitally aware parent about the stakeholders, about the vulnerabilities, about the crisis in online space, and then facilitating and mentoring the child. You see, this is how you navigate in the cyberspace. This is how you use the phone. These are certain things we should not access. Or these are the ways, there can be certain perpetrators to harm you, and also allowing them to be open to you. Don't worry. If at all something happens, we are there. Let us know. Giving them this support and confidence, and also allowing them to go in the cyber world, use the cyberspace. And you being at the back as a protector, you are there. So that is digital mentor. That is important. Now let me ask you one thing. All of you can, either put on chat, what do you think as parents? So suppose a child, your child, suppose, falls in the water and he is now drowning. So now as a parent who is seeing or who reached there, what will you do? I'm giving you options like, will you start to abuse or blame them? Yeah, see, you are drowning. I told you to learn swimming. I told you not to go to the waters. See what has happened now. You should have learned swimming. You should have been careful. The child is drowning at that moment. So at that moment, would you stand there and tell all this? Or at first, you will maybe throw a rope, or maybe you will call people, or you yourself will jump into the water and try to save the child, or maybe you will throw a floating tube or a life jacket. So out of these two approach, what will you take as a parent? You might just write down in the chats. Which of the two approaches you think is that we should take? Right. As you can see that you are writing that yes, you rescue the child. Right. That is what we think. But often in my practice, when I work with parents, what I observe is, suppose the child is playing or moving around or doing something, and somehow he cuts his hand, or somehow he does something, maybe the cups or dishes falls or something breaks or they gets injured. What I observe, the parents' first comment is, why weren't you careful? I told you not to go there. See what happened. This, that. Right. Are you understanding the analogy? So when a child is in crisis, even in the cyber world, I've seen that, suppose a child being unaware of certain things has lost a lot of money, probably while playing some online game or watching some random videos, they have done some inappropriate behavior. And what I observe is the parents' first reaction is punishment, be it verbal, be it maybe hitting or abusing the child, telling them, giving all the gyan at that moment. But if you see the analogy, at that moment as a parent, you need to first rescue your child, protect them. You, oh, okay, you cut, so okay, come here, come here. Let me give you appointment. Okay, what happened? Let me see. So first provide the healing. First listen to them. First be there, hold them, safeguard them. Maybe after a day or two, when the scenario has calmed down, your child is feeling better, then about a conversation. Okay, 2 days before, we know that this happened. So would you like to discuss what happened? What made you do this behavior? What happened? What are the ways do you think you could have been more careful? What are the ways you think in future you can prevent this from happening? And may I tell you this, even a 5, 6 year old child, if you have a conversation with them like this, he or she will be able to tell you certain things, but you have to give that space. It's not that a 5 year old or 6 year old doesn't know that. If a 5 year old can download a game, play, and lose money, or a 5 or 6 year old, 7 year old can, download certain videos or access certain links, so they are even intelligent enough to understand what went wrong, and also intelligent enough to rectify their mistakes. If we as adults facilitate that, so I hope next time you all as parents, when the child will be in a situation of drowning, in a situation of crisis, please provide them that rope, that life jacket. Instead of, educating them at that moment, you should have learned swimming. Why weren't you careful? All this will come later. First, you need to rescue them, to provide that stance of rescue. As it is rightly written, if you can see in this presentation of mine, I have written that be a thermostat, not a thermometer. Don't judge what is the level of crisis, what your child has done. Don't measure it on a thermometer. Be a thermostat. If the situation is hot, you need to protect that as a thermostat. You need to hold that thing. And you must tell what's most important may not be what you do, but what you do after what you did. So your child might make mistakes. That's not the problem. The point is what they do after what happened, or what you as a parent do after the crisis. We all make mistakes, but we can recover. And it is how we handle our mistakes that makes the difference. That is very important. Right. So we need to somehow as parents and elders, change our attitude. We need to be with attitude that I am here. I hear you. I understand you. I care. See, as I have written, that when a child is drowning, don't try to teach him or her swimming. When a child is upset, when a child is low, you have to be just there. That is not the moment to teach them rules or lessons. That is the time to act. And what is act? Acknowledge the feeling, communicate the limitations, and look for alternatives. So ACT, act. As parents, we need to act. Acknowledge the feeling, communicate the limitations, and target the alternatives. What is to be done? Now, these are certain points, as you can see, how to be a cyber smart parent. So first, as this webinar intends to do, or as experts we try to do, is first educate yourself and understand the digital landscape. What are there, how to access them, what are the vulnerabilities, how to protect from the vulnerabilities, what are the cyber laws. Being aware of all these things, you as a parent or an elder is important first. Second is be proactive in ensuring the child's online safety and teach them online safety. We as parents should not stop them from riding a cycle. Here a cycle mat seeko. Don't learn cycling. You might fall. You might get injured. We provide them with you know the steps how to ride the cycle correctly. We provide them with maybe a helmet, certain arm and leg gear, so that even if he falls, he is not injured. In same way, in cyber security, it's not limiting or restricting that is the solution. It is teaching them online safety. What are the ways you can be injured, and what will you do if at all you are injured? What are the first aids? That is very important. You need to empower your children to make responsible digital behavior. And for that, I always tell the parents that first, we as the elders need to do the same. We must first be responsible digital behavior. Children are like sponge. If you keep a sponge in a blue water, the sponge will turn completely blue and will soak the whole blue water. If you keep a sponge in a red water, it will turn red. It will take all the color of that water. Similarly, are our children. They will model you. Our children are the best models, or they learn best through observational learning. They will observe you, what you are doing. So if we want to teach our children anything, first we need to inculcate in our own behavior. They will automatically learn. 60 to 70% of the learning will happen automatically by what they observe around them, how they observe us, right? And also we need to keep or encourage open communication, so that they can approach you without any fear that, okay, something bad has happened, let me tell my father, let me tell my mother, because I know they are there. They might be upset at what happened, but they will protect me and guide me. That open space, that openness is important. Also teach them certain clear rules and boundaries. These are the things. You will use the smartphone, you can use the laptop, but see, these are the rules. But these are certain boundaries you need to maintain and discuss and negotiate with the child. Don't just impose, give them choice. Again, if you do this or do this much of work in the online, you need to also to do this much offline. Promote them to go out to play outside, not just indulge in online gaming, online interaction. Allow them to move out and play. Allow them to move out and interact in your neighborhood with children. Go out with friends. All this is important. Otherwise, they will start being only and only in the cyber world all the time. And that might lead to online addiction, which is again very harmful and ultimately can lead to a disorder. As we say in psychiatry or psychology, it might lead to a proper mental health problem or disorder like the gaming disorder or the online addiction disorder. All this might happen. So allow them time to spend with you and others in the real world, with people around them. If encourage offline activities, right, and be the role model. Be vigilant, create awareness about the threats regarding cyberspace, cyberbullying, and be a role model yourself. If you use a smartphone for maybe 12 hours, or the child sees if father comes back or the mother comes back, or when is they are also indulging always in the phone. Even while you are having dinner, everyone, all the members of the family are busy in their smartphone, seeing their own things. That's not a healthy practice. Because if you are using a smartphone for 10, 12 hours, you telling the child to use it for 1 hour or not to use it, that will never happen. They are the sponge and they have taken that behavior. They will also use the hours. There is in criticizing them. So first, we need to change our own behavior. Be mindful of how much we are abusing the online world, misusing it, or are we ourselves addicted? Are we ourselves not able to come out of the social media of this cyberspace world? That is a question as elders we need to ask ourselves. We need to reflect and then provide the same reflection to our children. Right? So with this, I end the presentation.